start now?
Here we go.
Okay, go ahead.
Watch out!
Everybody listen to a young rock master DJ who rich like a blaster, but better than the other. I can compare, still the need to compare, no compare, up here. When I am in here, I'm in without no fear. And everybody listen to a young rock master DJ who rich like a blaster, but better than the other. Let me the way I get to eat the way I keep them idea, but even to it, put my foot on what I get to read it.
Hey, what you that song? What you that? Hey, what you that song? What you that? Hey.
All right. 8 ball in the corner pocket. Game time. This is One Iam. You are listening to Urban Revolution on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I'm your host, and on my right hand, standing this time, is Debbie.
Hey, everybody. How are you today?
They doing all right. Debbie's going to be, you're going to be calling in a little later, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be calling in a minute and just sit on hold while you run your script tonight.
Yeah.
I got to do a couple of jobs at one time.
So you're going to be multitasking.
I'm going to be multitasking tonight.
But she will be listening in and probably butting in too.
Right. So I'm about to go call in so I can hear what's going on.
Yeah. It's all good on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. We are listener supported radio here on Revolution Radio. The listeners keep this station pumping and jumping, and it's all good. You know, they hit that donate button, and they don't break themselves. You know what I'm saying? They just give $1 or $2 to keep us on the air, and we would appreciate it here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. If you would give $1 or $2, just hit that donate button, and it's an easy process, and we'd be so thankful and grateful to continue to bring you good radio. You just heard, the master of many things, Kevin, talking about the Total Truth Broadcasting Network, where you can get your own radio station. Your own station. Oh, I got a call already. Let me check this out. Okay. Boom. Okay. We got Debbie in here on a call. Yeah, you can get your own radio station for $50 a month and start blowing up this internet. 24/7, 365. Put out your own, your own understanding of what's going on and everything. And, you might have a whole lot of people to join you in what you're thinking and saying. And, the radio programs you're putting out and everything. And it could turn into a lucrative venture for you. Let me say that the call-in number here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, is 347-688-2902. That's 347-688-2902. And I don't know how many people are going to be calling that tonight because I guess I'm bumped up against Barack Obama and his State of the Union address tonight, right? So although you can probably watch it later, they're going to play it back like 15 times, more than likely. They usually do. And, you can check him out later or go ahead and TiVo him right now, What I'm going to talk about tonight, my subject is psychological warfare. A lot of people don't understand psychological warfare, and it's not talked about that much, even though it's constantly used. Warfare, psychological warfare. And it's not just used in a military posture. It's used against the public by governments and etc. As well. And I just wanted to get into psychological warfare, tonight, and draw everybody's attention to that, so that you understand that you are under duress, even though you don't really recognize it, because it's psychological, right? So we're going to get into that a little bit. But I don't have a guest tonight as far as speaking on psychological warfare. So at any point that you want to call in, please do. And I add you to the conference call here. And, hear what you have to say. Or answer any question that you might have that I can deal with. And Debbie's on the line also. And she knows all about psychological warfare. She uses a lot of it on me. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's just define psychological warfare. Which you can also call. I
don't think that's true.
Oh, okay. Right. It may not be. I may have erred in saying that. Yeah. Psychological warfare, or psy-war, or the basic aspects of modern psychological operations, which they call psyop, have been known by many other names or terms, including psyops, political warfare. Political warfare was a little bit of what you seen that happened to Herman Cain, when he was doing so well. And then all of a sudden, a whole bunch of women started coming out talking about what a freak he was and everything. And then he was under attack and duress, in a psychological way. And
been playing that dirty game all day.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's psychological warfare that's being played, and the messages and stuff are being sent out into the public, so that they understand that your image is not what you putting out there. Okay. I guess he said Mitt Romney's crew got rid of him basically with the psyop. Anyway, they call it political warfare. They call it hearts and minds. And it's also known as just propaganda, just propaganda. Various techniques are used by any set of groups and aimed to influence a target audience's value systems, their belief systems, their emotions, their motives, their reasoning, or to influence their behavior. It is used to induce confessions or to reinforce attitudes and behaviors that are favorable to the originator's objectives, and are sometimes combined with black operations or false flag tactics. Target audiences can be governments, organizations, groups, and individuals. And I'm going to tell you, target audiences can also be like, not just like races. Certain races can be targeted. Like the gay community can be targeted, with psyop operations and et cetera, and have been, and et cetera. And I'll give you a prime example of a psychological operation that functions in the black community, and that would be the radio music. that is combined with the drum, the bass that is almost a natural African rhythm, the bass drum and, the 808 kit and the snares and all that. And you combine that with music of a sexual nature. You keep it sexual. You glamorize drugs and you keep booty flapping in the videos and etc. And you glamorizing sex and violence and putting it with money and all the trappings of the good life, so to speak. And you pump this in a community, year after year after year, until that community develops an appetite for that type of music and etc. And they don't want to hear anything other than what they have developed the appetite for. And the results of that type of psychological operation is you start to see teenage pregnancy and other things rise in that community. Violence and etc. will rise. Dope and etc. Would be something that young people will lean toward as a result of the constant bombardment of music and images that glorify this type of behavior and etc. And that's classified as psychological warfare, and it's put out by a hidden hand. You'll look and you see all of the black folks in the videos. I mean, the girls, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The sisters always have been beautiful, always will be. But when you undress them and put very little on them and have them twerking this and twerking that, and a full-grown adult can't handle that. Oh, okay. That's all I'm saying. A full-grown adult can't handle that. But when you feeding it to the babies, okay, all you can expect is a mess on your hands with teenage pregnancies and sex and violence and everything as a result of that type of psychological warfare. And like I said, you'll see like the black guys, Lil Weezy, Big Pun or whoever, Biggie, Tupac, and all the rest of them, might have been putting it out there. And they got Kanye and all the rest of them doing it. Sure, they doing it because they're not going to be paid for anything else. They could go ahead and go positive and do some other kind of music. But that's not what the record labels and the corporations behind the record labels are paying for. That's not what they want. So you have to deliver to them what they want to be pumped to the community. Okay? And you come in with some positive type song or something clean, it's just not going to work. That's not what they're looking for. That's not what they're paying for. And there are corporate houses that they contain several record labels, hundreds of record labels. As a matter of fact, some of these corporations are like stationed in Germany and different places like this, where they own several hip hop record labels and etc. And you deliver what they want, and they pump it where they want it to be pumped, and the results are what you see in the urban communities.
So
be like the billboards with 1 million in the urban communities that are advertising the sales of liquor and beer and wine and propaganda of other things, but then you go out to the suburbs and those same signs don't actually say it, aren't actually hanging. They don't actually advertise as much.
And you can't tell where beer and wine.
Hairgun, wig shops, Chinese stores everywhere.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, that is psychological warfare when you start taking malt liquor and stuff, and you combining malt liquor with sexy women, and and just beautiful women with their breasts pushed up in their tops and the tight clingy dresses on, and all kinds of things like this where you glorify. You almost make it seem like that bottle is this woman. You see what I'm saying? You drink that, and this is what you get. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
One of them type of deals. It's a psychological warfare. And then the malt liquor and stuff, the alcohol level in the malt liquor is extremely high. Okay? So basically it's going to lead you into some form of addiction, where you're going to end up going off into something even greater than drinking the malt liquor, or trying to get some other kind of high as well, from starting off on malt liquor. And
you know what I noticed recently, though, we do have a high infiltration of beer, alcohol, churches, and hair salon and wig stores. But I'm noticing that the thing that's really funny is when I pick up like the papers out in like the suburbs and stuff like that, they're advertising a lot of more of the controlled substance stores, like the weed stores. And it's like, wow, is that really? But they don't have a lot of concentrate in the inner city, but they do have a high concentration of that in the suburbs.
Yeah. I can tell you what's in the inner city. You already know. Like you mentioned, the beer and wines and the liquor stores, practically like every other block, there's another liquor store, and they paint them with the loudest paints, the reds and the whites. These are all colors that appeal to black people. The loud reds, the almost red, black, and green. A lot of these stores, and they appeal to black people, and they tell you can bring everything here. Your money, food stamps, your bridge card, whatever. We take it all. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
you can go into these stores with food stamps and come out with liquor.
Well, no, you can't buy liquor with it. They won't let you buy it. Well, let me say this. They're not supposed to let you buy it.
Okay, thank you. They're not supposed to.
Recently, they've been busting a lot of stores in Michigan because they have been buying the food stamps from the people. They have been letting them buy liquor.
You get the liquor, but it costs more food stamps than the liquor is worth. You got to pay more food stamps than the liquor is worth. That's the way they're working it. They selling you cigarettes, one at a time out of the pack.
Right. Which is actually against the law as well.
Yeah, but they make so much money doing it that they'd rather pay the penalties if they get caught and et cetera. Everybody's citywide is doing it here in Detroit, Michigan. But like you were saying, with the the beer and wine advertisements and et cetera, children are seeing these when they go in to buy their little cookies or potato chips or whatever. They're looking at the bottle of whatever it is, they vodka or rum or whatever, that they the Ciroc that Puff Daddy is pumping up right now, trying to act like he one of the Rat Pack boys. Frank Sinatra. I guess he was Sammy Davis, with the rest of the guys. But and glorifying this liquor. Then they tell you to drink responsibly, at the end of the commercials and whatever, which nobody responsible would drink anyway, because the stuff is intoxicating. It's poison, and no responsible person would drink poison. Okay? So there's no way to drink responsibly. They got these low thresholds for being able to drink this stuff, like 0.08 or whatever. As far as, you get over that and you're drunk, and why even risk, being drunk, driving, and everything else from drinking some poison, just to make you silly. So you can't walk straight, you can't speak straight, and your depth perception is off and everything else. And who would tell you to drink that responsibly? Okay? But, this is the way they're pumping it up. Psychological warfare is being waged in a whole lot of different ways in the urban communities and everything, And I'm just trying to make my listeners aware of it, so that, even if you don't live in the urban community, you could write some of these record labels and these people and let them know that you are aware of what's being done in these urban communities and et cetera, and that they are contributing to the rates of violence and teenage pregnancy and all the problems related with that, around those issues and everything, by waging this type of psychological warfare and profiting off of it at the same time. Okay. Now, in propaganda, let me tell you, you mentioned churches also. They always, we got as many churches as we have liquor stores in the urban communities and et cetera. The churches are always there. You try to open up a business in the urban community, and they want to see a business plan that's, it's got to be at least a foot thick, the business plan. You know what I'm saying? A few thousand pages of this and that and all kind of analysis, this, that, and the other. And then they tell you no at the bank, okay, for trying to get a business going. But if you want to open up a church, you go on there with one page, okay? I need some money for a church. I'm going to bring in a whole bunch of Negroes into this church and tell them that Jesus wants them to be good, okay? They'll throw you $1 million so fast it'll make your head spin to open that church up and pull in as many Negroes as you can and tell them to be good. All right? Because it serves their purpose, okay? While they pumping in all this other stuff, garbage to cause all kind of problems and this and that, it serves their purpose to keep you looking toward heaven to get yours, okay? And not looking in other places down here on earth and wondering where mine at right now, okay? So you got a church on every other corner, a storefront church, a mega church. We just had, like, how many was it? 20 or 30 hearses, filled with church people and et cetera. Said they sick of the violence and the murder in Detroit because we've already had maybe 20 murders in Detroit here already, and it's just January the 24th. Okay, 20 homicides. I might be a little low on that number today, but they all got together and put together like 20 hearses and a long line of other cars behind the hearses and rode from downtown Detroit to some mega church, on the other side of town somewhere, and held a rally where they were like saying they were tired of the violence and the shooting and the murder. And this was a big show to say that we've had enough. And I looked at a few of the news coverage stories and et cetera. And they weren't showing the audience in the rally that much because basically the place was empty, you know. I think it was only the people that were riding in the hearses and stuff that were in there. There weren't that many people in the rally, okay? Because people they just tired of the games. They sick and tired of the ism schism games, dying and go to heaven in a Jesus name, as Bob Marley say. Okay, we're just tired of it, and you know the way to stop some of these problems and issues around here is jobs and education, okay, and social safety nets for people that fall through the cracks and stuff. You know, instead of throwing people off, you know, when you don't have a job for them, you should be putting them on, okay, instead of just leaving them out in the cold, you know, and then you got to make a desperation move, you know, at some point. And
I do understand that, and maybe that's why the city of Detroit right now is at the double digits in the murder area right now, because people are really desperate. They're out here and they're fighting and defending, and I'm not just saying it's about Michigan, but basically it's everywhere. You know, like I said, I've been down in the court system for the last couple of days, and it's like, man, they're ushering me in and ushering them out because they're fastly just taking stuff from people, where the people realize how much stuff is actually still being taken from people every day. Hard-working Americans, you know. You miss filing a tax return, and next thing you know, they were like, you owe me $26,000. And you're looking at them like, well, look, I can't find a job, so how do you think I'm going to pay you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, you know, that's another piece of psychological warfare, because they really, the way they do taxes and stuff, they pick a number, and then they say you owe it, okay? They pick a big, large number, too, and one that's going to scare you to death, you know, and make you say, well, I don't owe that much, and then you'll go down and say, well, I don't owe that much, and then they start talking about how much you really do owe, okay, according to them, and et cetera. You know, that's just
really, you don't owe anything, really. If you work and you pay every day, you really don't owe anything. They should be sending you some money back. I mean, come on, let's just. I was just watching Romney, how much he paid in taxes, and I'm like, are you serious? And he still only paid 14.6%. I think I pay that much myself.
Oh, you probably pay more.
A multi-millionaire.
You probably pay more than Mitt Romney. His tax rate is like 14%. I think it was 13.5.
Oh, he paid 14.6.
But okay, well, your tax rate is probably somewhere nearer to 30% than 14.6. You know, in your federal.
They're like, he gave away, like, I think they said he gave away to charity like $80 million. You know, I'm like, wow, and what?
Well, that might have been over a lifetime or something, but I think he gave $7 million. I heard that he gave $7 million to charity, but a lot of that is given away to balance.
Right.
You know, basically, I'm just saying that psychological warfare is being played out here, and it's damaging certain populations and et cetera. And it also helps to make your image look bad and et cetera. I mean, it just works against you in such horrible ways, you know, and there's a hidden hand behind it. And you never see the hidden hand. You're always looking in on the victims of the propaganda and the psychological warfare, and you see the mess that's been made as a result of it, and of different kinds of warfare going on. And then you say, well, man, those people there, they're terrible. There's something wrong with them. Okay, they just can't get it together. But in propaganda, the formation of men's attitudes by Jacques Ellul, he discusses psychological warfare as a common peace policy practice between nations as a form of indirect aggression in place of military aggression. And like I said, you can use it in a military posture. You know, this type of propaganda drains the public opinion of an opposing regime by stripping away its power on public opinion. You've seen propaganda used on Muammar Gaddafi, okay?
All right.
And different things like that. They talked about how he was murdering his people, what kind of a horrible guy he was, this, that, and the other. How he bombed the plane, from Lockerbie, this, that, and the other. They don't tell you the reasons why certain things happened and this, that, and the other. Like Reagan bombed Muammar Gaddafi's palace and stuff back, and killed his stepdaughter, one of his daughters, and etc. And I don't know if he retaliated, by taking out a plane, but I'm the type of guy that when you murder my family and all kinds of stuff like that, I might be inclined to retaliate, and look for some justice myself,
I think it was actually more than just that. It's just a lot that we don't really know about that.
Yeah, it's oil. Like I told you, there are problems and issues that the big boys are working on that we really don't pay attention to, okay? And one of them is keeping enough oil to keep the country running, to keep that big military that we have moving. Because when the oil runs out, it all stops, okay? And that's one of the biggest reasons why the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, because
Right.
they were in a war with the British and etc. And the United States put an oil embargo on Japan, okay? Like, how you gonna put an oil embargo on me while I'm fighting a war? You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, I got to do something to break it, or I'm
Right.
done. So that's how that went down. But I'm just saying it's a whole lot of psychological warfare and propaganda going on out here.
Man, I think everything right now really is tied to psychological warfare. They feel like they ain't got enough money, so let's squeeze the people more. The gas is being watered down, so you can't go far, so you got to use twice as much gas. The food is high, so now they're saying, you got to spend more money on food. I mean, it's just everything. Everywhere you look around, it's just a bunch of propaganda going on. I mean, it's just everything is like just really coming to a whole big head where now it's just too much going on. Too much, really. Just really too much. Too many people are excited about too many things, which is causing people to be stressed out, which is causing them to lose their mind, check out, and do things that they would normally not do.
I feel you. Well, even like you just said, even the banks and etc. are using psychological warfare. They've set up all kinds of companies and etc. To call you and harass you about payments and missed payments or debt that they say you have that you didn't pay and etc. These people are hired to ring your phone, okay, and to get you on the line and to make sure they raise your blood pressure, okay? They just gotta jerk you into some angry. They want to get you up into some fit of anger where you screaming in the telephone, okay, and slamming it at the end, okay, and they're satisfied then that they've done their job, okay. That's their job, just to do that repeatedly until you finally call in and beg to pay.
I don't think that's gonna happen with me.
I'm just saying, this is the way they operate.
I don't think that's gonna happen for me.
It works. It works. Psychological warfare works. You be wanting that peace of mind. As a matter of fact, if you one of the real nice people, that can handle a little psychological warfare and etc. This, that, and the other. They'll put you on like a phone ringer, where they're not actually making the calls, but a computer is making the calls, and they try to catch you that way and ring you, make sure you get wrong like 4 and 5 times a day, and if you answer the phone, they tell you to hold, please, while we get somebody to harass you.
You hang up on those calls.
Yeah.
They normally not for me. I do have my business line, and they do call on there for the guy that used to. And they be like, hold on while we get somebody. Please, hold on while we get somebody. Really? Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
You hold on. Watch this.
Right.
No. It's just, the world is just like crazy. You getting calls on your cell phone with people trying to sell you stuff, or you just won a trip. How can I win a trip that I never signed up for?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you get the boat signal. The captain is inviting you to come and get your tickets and get on board. You know what I'm saying? Get out of here.
I think my favorite one is the one that calls and says, "Hi, I just called to let you know your credit card debt is not that bad, but we can't help you." And I'm like, I don't even have credit card debt, so
right.
Why are you calling me?
Oh, they fishing. They know everybody's in trouble. So more than likely, whoever they call is going to need them. Okay?
Well, they be like, you're not in trouble. That's what it says. You're not in trouble yet, but we can help you. And I'm like, well, I don't even have a credit card, so how can I not be in trouble at this point?
Yeah. We got a caller 425.
Yeah, One Iam, you got the right tack as far as how you think. You're a cynic, and cynical thinking really is the proper way of thinking. That you think that everything's a lie and it's all a trick and everything else, because you're right, it is. But as I called in on that 800, the bill collectors, they harass you.
Yeah.
They used to mess with me, but what I would do, things that I don't go and spend money. I don't have bills. I don't know what they're talking about. They call up and I just magically owe them money. But I get their 800 number, and then I says, well, let me give you a call right back and get my credit card. And so then I call them, and I'll say, well, I don't owe the money, and you don't need to call me anymore. They argue with me. I says, well, hang on a second. I'm going to call you right back. And I call them back. And about the third time I call them back, I says, are you starting to get the point? You see, because this 800 number costs you money every time it rings.
Yeah.
And I am just going to ring this thing off the hook. I mean, you watch for the next hour. I'm going to spend your money like water. Yeah. Anyways, they finally relent. And he says, okay, sir, we're not going to bother you anymore. It was a mistake, ... But just start spending their money. Just call that 800 number.
Right. That's a great idea, and you got that from Hijacker.
Right. But on the psychological warfare, the level of psychological warfare and realities, there's only one real way I can put it on how dug in somebody is, or how immersed somebody is in these true-false realities.
Yeah, man.
So you got a fish, right? It's in the ocean. It spends its whole life in the ocean. One time, it decides to swim to the surface, and with all its might, it jumps up out of the water to the surface, and for the first time, it sees land and trees, and maybe a cow or a person or the sun or something else above the water.
Right.
That's the true reality. That's how
reality.
People are.
Yeah, that's how
fishes,
immersed in psychological
that's exactly
warfare.
Right. It's so many layers that I don't see how anybody can pull it. I mean, there's layers over layers over layers, and as soon as you get to the next level, there's another level. And then when you finally do get to the top, like I did, I finally got to the top of the mountain. My God, the reality would almost make you insane.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to laugh. You can't. You got to say this cannot be the reality. This is not true. This is unbelievable, but it's true.
Right.
That is the true reality.
Yep.
But I figured I'd give you a call, give you a shot.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And that was good information. Thank you for that 800 number suggestion. And if I need it, I will use it. Yep. Also on psychological warfare, let me see here. They say most uses of the term psychological warfare refers to military methods, which that's not true. Most uses, not military methods. Although they do certain things like they distribute pamphlets, like in the Persian Gulf War, encouraging desertion and things like that, with supplying surrender instructions to enemy troops and stuff. They have propaganda radio stations, such as Lord Haha in World War II on the Germany calling station. And then you remember in Vietnam, on the Vietnamese side, North Vietnamese, I used to have a lady that came on that would talk to the American troops, and ask them what are they doing here, what's going on, you're just making a mess of yourselves, and, you really shouldn't be here fighting for capitalist pigs and everything. And, a lot of troops tried to act like it didn't have much effect, but really, when you sit down and think about it, it kind of messes with your head to listen to that stuff and to to hear what they're saying, because a lot of it be true. Like, what am I doing here?
Right.
In the middle of the jungle.
Well, I know what woman you're talking about. The real impact was when she started talking about the people's girlfriends at home and wives.
Yeah.
That neighbor's with your wife right now, soldier out there.
Right.
She is. Yeah. It just really, it just upset them.
Yeah. The fact of the matter was, she was. She couldn't handle her sexual drive by herself in many cases, and there was a lot of divorce and everything else going on when those soldiers got back home and different things. And if they got
it is like that now. I mean, it is like that now. It's the way I look at it is we're going into a combination old Soviet style mind control type gulag type system, maybe hybrid with a Nazi type system.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're just going to be like a Nazi state within just a couple of years. I mean, you talk about the murders.
Yeah.
I read an article on what happens at night in the major cities. I mean, at nighttime, it's not even safe to go into a whole lot of cities anymore with all the meth heads and people starving, all the criminality.
Yeah. And at the same time, the police forces and et cetera are being reduced due to, budget cuts and all kind of stuff like that. As a matter of fact,
some of them are, go ahead.
Yeah, they closed the police stations here are closed from like 4 p.m. to 6 o'clock a.m. in the morning. Or is it 8 o'clock a.m., Debbie?
I think it's 8 o'clock a.m.
Okay, from 4 p.m. to 8 o'clock, they close the police stations down. So you have to wait till the next day, or they give you a phone number to call to make a police report or something if you need them. I mean, you can still call 911 and get an officer to come out in about an hour or so. but you can't go to the police station to fill out a report or anything like that because they're not open anymore. We had a guy that went into a police station and shot it up. He jumped the counter and shot at some officers and different things like that. And
I saw the YouTube on that. He walked in and just opened fire. It had a whole big old gunfight.
Yeah,
I think the cops could. Yeah, I think they shot him though. They killed him.
Yeah, they shot and killed him. But at nighttime they reduce officers and et cetera in the stations and stuff like that. And I guess they were kind of worried, about sitting in there at 2 o'clock in the morning and what might happen with not that many officers being in the building and et cetera. And they just decided to just close the things down until the next day when everybody's back on duty and et cetera, whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think about it, when's the last time you had to go to a police station? I mean, there's not a whole lot of. It's not like going to the grocery store.
Man, are you kidding? Come to Detroit. You got to go to the police station all day long in Detroit. You talking car accidents, you talking robberies, you talking murders. Break-ins is off the chain, you know, and the police don't come out to you no more for a whole lot of stuff. You know, you have a fender bender or something, nobody's coming. Okay. Most things they don't come out to you for at all anymore. You got to come to them. You know, you basically got to have something. You got to say like, there's a shooter out here right now, and then hold your phone up so that they can hear the gunshots. And then they'll put you on the list. You know?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I tell you, if we lose the police, I mean, a lot of people upset because the cops are, you know, they're turning into revenue collectors, but they better turn into revenue collectors. They better hold that center. You lose the police, you lose the center of society, and she collapses. That's what they guaranteed.
Revenue collecting.
Yeah, well, I really don't mind it. I mean, that's if they gotta actually legalize, steal the money to hold the center so society doesn't collapse.
Right.
You know, it's like one of those things. But you don't have police in certain areas, and you got implosion.
Right.
I mean, there's supposed to be something like 32.5 million gang members in this country.
Really?
Total. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, counting MS and the Honduran gangs, right? Russian mob. You know, everybody.
Yeah. And the Mexicans are coming in from down there near the border. You know, the Mexican cartels and stuff are crossing over. So, you know, that'll be interesting as well. You know, back on the subject of harassment through psychological warfare, you know, the FBI are experts at psychological warfare from their COINTELPRO program and different operations that they do. You know, they are well versed in it. They practice it all the time. And some of the stuff that they use like false media stories. You know, they COINTEL documents expose frequent collusion between news media personnel and the FBI to publish false and distorted material at the Bureau's behest. The FBI routinely leaked derogatory information to its collaborators in the news media. You know, so they put out false stories and stuff like that, and then, you know, they leak them out in the press and different things like that. That's just one psychological harassment technique that they use. Also, they put out bogus leaflets and pamphlets and other publications. They routinely put out phony leaflets, posters, pamphlets, newspapers, and other publications in the name of movement groups. Like if you had a movement group or a party, like a Black Panther party or something, right? The FBI would be in their printing shop making up Black Panther pamphlets and, you know, and putting information in the pamphlets that wasn't true and et cetera. And, you know, having people going over here and going over there and did nothing, you know, that wouldn't be an event. You know, it was all a false flag event and stuff like that. And it makes, you know, it makes you look like junkie, like, you know, they supposed to have this over here, but they didn't, and blah, 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 and this, that, and the other. And you know, just messes you up, so to speak. And then they forge correspondence. Former employees have confirmed that the FBI has the capacity to produce state-of-the-art forgery. Yeah, like they got to tell us that. This capacity was used under COINTELPRO to create snitch jackets and bogus communications that exacerbated differences among activists and disrupted their work. Like if you had I'm talking like civil rights activists, just people just saying, hey, look, y'all need to be civil. And, we just want to be a part of the community, on an equal basis. The FBI is like sending letters back and forth between the leaders of the groups, like saying, this guy said you was a stupid MF or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then,
Right.
And then the guy that gets the letter would respond, and usually they put a mic in front of his face, like with him responding to one of these letters. And then the guy who didn't send the letters looking at him responding, like, what the hell is he talking about? And then the next thing you know, they're going at it, about something.
Oh yeah, no, they're pros at that stuff, but that's the Achilles heel. There's one thing. There's one of the prime directives of the FBI, and I know this for a fact. No groups. They don't want people packing up into a group.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing. They don't want 5 families all buying a farm, building a barn, all working together. I've heard a guy out here, out this way, there's 4 or 5 families, and they all decide to work together on building each other's houses and stuff like that. Yeah. Use the income and all 5 families were cooperating. Well, one Sunday when they were off, the houses got burnt down, all the tractors, everything. They don't want people packing up into groups. They'll let you go to church, but if you take a look at churches, all they are is basically entertainment. That's all it is. I mean, it's, the pastor doesn't really tell people how to make themselves better, or listen, you need to talk to this person over here because he's got certain gifts and talents, and what do you need, and how do you help you? You would think that the guy would be like, a really intelligent person that could really bless the people and network and organize them, but it's not like that. He stands up there, he gives his little Christian sermon, does his little song and dance, praise to Jesus, amen, and that's it. It's a cut, it's a wrap,
Right. Pass the plate 3 times, and let's get on up out of here.
That's right, but they don't, now the Mexicans, they come over, they got kind of a culture of living together and forming up groups, so it's a little bit more difficult for them to bust up, Mexican nationals because that's their way of life. But it's a group. They don't allow groups to form really at all. And once you do get a group going, they'll send people in. They'll send people in.
They use infiltration, big time. Infiltrate. That's one of the big things that they do. They use anonymous letters and telephone calls. During the 60s, activists received a steady flow of anonymous letters and phone calls, which turned out to have been from the FBI. At the time, they didn't know it, but they'd send death threats and all kinds of other stuff to mess with your head. And they make good on them, too. It's not like they're making idle threats. You feel me? They really do hurt people, and put you in prison and all kind of things like that on bogus charges and stuff,
Oh yeah, you're right. Like in my case, what I don't understand is why they hit me with a mental weapon. Most times when they get a run into an activist or a writer or something like that, throw some cocaine in his car and lock him up for 20 years. But in my case, they used a mental weapon on me, and once they did that, and I took the mental weapon away from them and used it against them.
What kind of mental weapon did they use on you?
Oh, they throw you in a mental institution.
Yeah.
They say you're mentally ill.
Yeah,
they try to drug you up. Yeah.
Yeah, mental. Yeah.
It sounded like you said metal, not mental.
No, mental. Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a big thing nowadays is using mental illness, tagging somebody with that, then you pretty much you own them. You can put them in jail and lock them up, stick drugs in them, almost do anything. So it's a frightening weapon.
Yep. You are listening to Urban Revolution on Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com. I am One Iam, your host. Online, I have Debbie, the co-host, and I have Hijacker with us online. We are listener-supported radio. We would appreciate it if you hit that donate button. Give us $1 or $2 to keep us on the air so I can come back next week and tell you something else. What's going on? Let me tell you this. They use pressure. The FBI use pressure through employers, landlords, and others. FBI records reveal repeated maneuvers to generate pressure on dissidents from their parents, their children, their spouses. They go to your landlord. They go to your employer. They get you fired off the job. College administrators, church superiors. They go to welfare agencies, credit bureaus, and the like. Anonymous letters and telephone calls were often used to this end. Confidential official communications were effective in bringing to bear the Bureau's immense power and authority. They sweat people to do things to make your life hell. And
I got hit with all those weapons. I can tell you all about it. They'll even go, like one time when the Secret Service dropped by, they even went to the grocery store in this little town South Carolina I was in.
Yeah.
And they showed my picture around with their badge and the daggone to the grocery store manager.
Yeah.
I mean, they can get right behind the lines and just gang stalking. Oh my God, they can really put it to you.
Right. Also, they tamper with your mail and your telephone service. They tap your telephone and everything. They open your mail and different things like that, and try to keep track. They go in your garbage. You throw your garbage out, they go in the garbage. And let me tell you, a lot of people have had their homes raided because they had cocktails where they smoked a joint or something in the garbage. Okay? And they find that in your garbage and they go and get a warrant and come right back to your house. Okay?
Yeah, they got a case like that right now in Detroit.
Yeah, they come right back to your house and bust the door open. You know what I'm saying? You got drugs up in here. We found roaches in your garbage bag.
Yeah, that girl that used to be on the Flavor of Love, her husband, boyfriend, however it goes. They said we found traces of weed, and we broke a weed because he had a nightclub, and they said we found traces of weed in the garbage can. So we went in there and we raided it, and he was this big time drug dealer. Okay, well he was a real big time drug dealer, but you only seized like $5,000 out of the safe. Really? He wasn't that big time, was he?
That was one night's bar at a club, $5,000 on the drinks.
Right.
They also use disinformation to prevent or disrupt movement meetings and activities. This was a favorite tactic uncovered by Senate investigators, was to advertise a non-existent political event or to misinform people of the time and the place of an actual one. They reported a variety of disruptive FBI dirty tricks designed to cast blame on the organizers of movements, events, and etc. So, they use dirty tricks, dirty pool. They murder. They railroad people into prison and everything. And all of this is to keep the status quo where it is. That's their job. They don't want change. They work for who they work for, and they do what they do. Okay. And they use infiltration, and infiltration is like they move into a country, a territory, or surreptitiously and gradually. They especially with hostile intent, like move in to a group. They look just like the group that they're moving into. You can't tell that it's an FBI agent and etc. Like if they're going into a Muslim situation, it's going to be somebody, he turbaned out. His beard is longer than anybody's in the place. You know what I'm saying? But he's an FBI agent. He came from Yemen or wherever. You know what I'm saying? He's on the payroll. He's getting squeezed. Ernest Withers, he was a civil rights photographer. He photographed. He's famous for photographing practically the whole civil rights movement, down in Tennessee and et cetera, and different places, following King around and all the civil rights guys. He took the pictures. He was taking pictures of all the events everybody who showed up. He took license plates pictures and of cars and I mean everything that moved. This guy took a shot of it. As a matter of fact, they're talking about opening a museum up for this guy. His name is Ernest Withers. You can look him up on the internet. Turns out they say he was an FBI informant. He was like a police officer before he started photography.
Right.
But it turns out he was an FBI informant, you know, and he gave up all kinds of information on Dr. King and the Civil Rights Movement. You know, he captured iconic images, you know, of Dr. King. And on the night King was shot in Memphis and other leaders of the movement in the 1960s and stuff like that. You know, he was reporting everything King did, everybody he talked to, and etc. And all.
I thought King was shot in the afternoon, like about 5 in the afternoon or something.
Yeah, he might have been. I was just saying. I don't know what time it was, but this guy here was there. He was the one shooting all the photographs and etc. You know, he was trusted, you know, in the civil rights movement. And
well, it's just like that Jesse Jackson. I mean, you know, he was right there when King was shot. First thing he did is, he grabbed a handful of blood from King, smeared it on his white shirt, and started crying. You know, and I got the mantle now. I'm Jesse Jackson. I mean, they're all. So he's probably an agent.
Yep. At the time, you know? he was just like a student, you know, basically an organizer and stuff like that. And he went for it. Like, you know, I'm taking the mantle now. And dipped his hand in the blood. As a matter of fact, they say that might have been some signal that certain people were wearing ties and certain people weren't wearing ties. So they would know who was who during this shooting and et cetera. You know, you would have to check out Steve Coakley on the internet and what he has to say about Jesse Jackson on YouTube.
Oh, he's been a real quiet candidate lately.
Jesse? Yeah, he came to Detroit. Steve Coakley. Yeah, he was having some health issues and stuff like that, and he kind of disappeared.
Well, Jesse Jackson been quiet ever since they broke that baby out on him.
Yeah, well, he kept talking about the election and everything and how George Bush had stole the election in Ohio and Florida that time, and you know he was trying to rally a campaign and everything against. So what they did was they used psychological warfare. They used psychological warfare. They broke out information on Jesse having a baby out of wedlock and all this kind of stuff like that. And Jesse was quiet after that, you know, for a while. Because he was under duress. His wife and everything, you know, went into her thing after that and this, that, and the other. He had to go into damage control more so than be out messing around with George Bush and, you know, the election thing. I mean, he didn't have to, but, I mean, what are you going to do, you know, when you're up under that kind of pressure and everything? And, you know, warfare. And what I really wanted to, like, they had Malcolm X's daughter. People had infiltrated around her. It was a FBI guy named Fitzgerald, and they had worked him into hanging around Malcolm X's daughter, and pretty much talked her into going into an assassination plot on Minister Farrakhan for the death of her father, Malcolm X. And you know, they came at her real hard, like she was trying to kill Farrakhan and all this kind of stuff, and Farrakhan didn't fall for it. He was like, no way, you know, the FBI trying to set this girl up, this, that, and the other. And those charges and everything disappeared. I think, you know, they put her on some kind of plea bargain where she basically didn't get any time or anything for that, you know. But, you know, I got information here from CNN where the FBI has been planting spies inside of U.S. mosques and et cetera. This is what the Muslim groups are saying. And they've even admitted it here in the Detroit area that, yeah, this is something that they do, that they infiltrate organizations and et cetera especially Islamic organizations in the Detroit area. We have the biggest Islamic community in the nation. And they definitely going to be here looking and listening. As a matter of fact, we had an imam here that the FBI set up, and this imam ended up getting shot 21 times by the FBI. I think they said he was shot 20 times, but one of the bullets went in, and I guess it was close range to the floor or whatever, and it came back in and caused another wound. But
the FBI shot their own informant?
No, this guy wasn't. He wasn't an informant, but he was set up by informants. Because what they do is they are provocateurs as well. They go into a situation. They don't just sit in there and listen, okay, in the mosque and stuff. They look to see who wants to make a move. Who's ready to do something.
Oh no, they're the most zealot ones. If you want to find out who they are, they're the ones talking all the bombing, and killing, and I want to do this and I want to do that. And
they're talking the bombing. They're talking, what's going on over there and what they're doing over there. And we need to do something. And they're looking to see who's going to go, yeah, okay. And then when the guy goes, yeah, then they're gonna hook him up with everything he need, okay. You get this, you get that. We got bombs. We got what you want. Okay. We're going to set you up. We're going to bring you over to the warehouse. Everything with cameras in it, everything. Okay. You going to be set up like you've never been set up before. Okay. And this is exactly what they did to this imam. I don't know how they got the imam over to this warehouse in Dearborn, here in the Detroit area. They got him over to a warehouse that was their warehouse. And they had him moving some TVs from one trailer to the next or something like that. It was just like stolen goods. They didn't have any they didn't have any charges on him for terrorism or nothing. But they claim that he pulled a gun on several FBI agents, a handgun, and shot a dog. Okay? An FBI dog. And, what they did, they returned fire, they said, and they shot him like 21 times. Then,
oh boy.
After they shot the guy 21 times, they handcuffed him, okay? They picked his body up and threw him in the back of a semi-trailer, right? Then, what they did, they said, oh, the dog got shot. Let's get a helicopter in here fast, because the dog is a federal agent, right? And we're going to helicopter the dog to the hospital in Troy, Michigan, to the doggy hospital or whatever. And that's what they did. They left the imam on the floor. I guess he was dead anyway, right?
That's a blown operation. I mean, that imam figured it out, and he tried to react, but they had him over a gun.
You know what? I don't even know if he fired. I don't even know if he shot the dog or anything. I know one thing. The dog had mauled his face and hands. At least one dog. I don't know how many dogs they had, but at least one dog, had mauled his hands and face and stuff. And it was terrible, what was done. And then, the investigations took forever as far as his autopsy and everything. And then they wouldn't release the information from the autopsy. And they just wait long and wait and dink around with things until basically all the heat's off of it. You know what I'm saying? And then they come with a little bit more of this and a little bit more of that. And at the end of it all, nothing happens. Nothing happens. Okay? You just got a person that's dead, and everybody's saying he was a great guy. I never knew he was a thief like that. All we knew was he was a great guy. He taught in the mosque and everything, and his sermons would make you cry. They were so great and so peaceful and everything. But at the same time, then you find all this other stuff from the FBI that he was receiving stolen goods, and he was doing this and he was doing that. Okay, and then his own children and the wife and everything and whoever else don't even know nothing about his other activities. Or anything like that he might have been involved in, and I'm telling you, they can spin a story so good that your own wife and your own children in your house will go, damn, I didn't know Daddy was such a dirty bastard.
Well, there's got to be some truth to it, and this is the reason why. Is when what the FBI did is they probably tortured him, and then shot him or something. Although 21 shots doesn't make any sense, so there had to be some kind of something. But they wouldn't have spent that much credibility. They wouldn't have spent all that credibility in killing that guy unless there was something to it.
Well, they said he was preaching an anti-American doctrine in his mosque, and he was, rabble-rousing the Muslims in the area. Okay,
well, that's what I mean. He was being, he was an operative. He was in a war. Yeah. Yeah,
that's what they said, and they took him out. Okay, based on that, in a bad way.
Well, I know One Iam, but there's guys that get that infection, and by the time they're done, they got zealots wound up that want to run into a mall and start gunning people down. I mean, that's what the FBI is supposed to do. They're
right.
I don't agree maybe with their method, or maybe they did kill them, but they let that infection, that Islamic rage and anger. I mean, they're not like Christians, like the one Palestinian said, and from an Israeli prison.
That's not what the FBI is supposed to do, though. They're not supposed to do that. They're supposed to go by the law, go legal. You're not supposed to say, I don't like this guy's doctrine. We're going to set him up and kill him. Okay? We don't like what Dr. King is saying. I want him to take one in the throat with a 30-30. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But this is what I'm saying. I'm saying an FBI would have never killed him unless the guy was an operative and he was starting to organize and starting to get into people's heads so that he would go out to a mall. Now, Dr. King is totally different. He wouldn't have told people to go out there and just start killing innocent people. No, he was more about organizing. He was actually more dangerous in a way.
J. Edgar Hoover said Dr. King was the most dangerous man in America. This is the FBI chief at the time. He looked at Dr. King as some kind of black messiah that could bring all the black people together and start all kind of trouble and stuff for the status quo. And they took him out. But let me tell you something else. I'm gonna tell you something about freedomslips.com and everything. Hold on, I got a call coming in. Hello.
Hey,
how you doing?
How's it going, One? Hi, Debbie.
It's going pretty good.
Hello.
Just talking about the imam getting set up and shot as many times as he did.
Hey.
And I think Hijacker is saying, well, hey, he's an operative. Something had to be done. He rabble-rousing like that, hanging.
I wish that was the case. Actually, I did a documentary, and we're still doing it on the life and death of, and the works, the livelihood of the Imam Lukman, and being a Detroit native and a Muslim, but one that cares about humanity. The FBI is worse than the Bloods and Crips, So this is something that they've been doing for years, especially with COINTELPRO. I mean, they even infiltrated the KKK. So when you talk about a mass agenda and when you talk about warfare, they are the great wagers of war.
Yeah, they're here. And
that's my point. What is your name?
Martina.
That's what the FBI is. I have a I have a nickname for him. I call him Mongoose. Now, what a mongoose does is it eats snakes. It eats monsters. It swallows them and puts them in its belly, federal prison. That's what the animal's for. That's why it's the biggest and the baddest. That's what its job is.
Well, one thing is for sure, the FBI are definitely provocateurs. I have a lot of footage, especially from the FBI, and it was quite surprising to me that they were at a public event, and the lead FBI agent, I forget his name, Andrews or something, I forgot, in Detroit, in Michigan, and he stated clearly, what their intentions were. I don't know if he even realized that the camera was rolling. So this is something that they do. There was a multi-jurisdictional task force that was involved. There were multiple police and agencies involved, and there was a lot of money that these different agencies benefited from. So it was a very profitable venture to go and case out for over 2 years inner city mosques that was not well off or had the wherewithal to promote, let alone carry out any type of terror in the neighborhoods, let alone on the nation. And regardless of even his teachings did not even advocate terrorism or what the country is so adamant about fighting against or protecting us from. So,
right, Martina, but this is the problem. The FBI would not have burnt up their credibility if there wasn't something to that guy. They don't just kill people. They just don't grab people.
I mean, they do it all the time.
Yes, they do.
Why would they? I mean, listen, aside from my personal or my bias, because I have a significant bias because I'm Muslim, but I mean, and that's what made me want to go investigate, because wrong is wrong, is right is right. If this man was advocating terrorism, if he was out trying to rally up the truth, if he was selling and purchasing stolen goods and trafficking it across the nation or across the state lines, and yes, he will be wrong. But in this type of situation, it was more about money than anything, than protecting the nation. The FBI and other police and agencies benefited greatly financially. And
why would they kill him? Why would they kill him?
Why wouldn't they kill him?
They don't grab people and just kill people.
Martin Luther King. Why did they kill Malcolm X?
They had reasons for that. You know the reasons. They were organizing. But what was this guy doing?
Helping people have a sense of self-awareness and self-esteem and self-love, to not be oppressed and continue to be the underdog and
well, listen, that's
written over.
Well, in that case, why did JFK?
That's even better.
Right. Well, you got to have
King, JFK were organizing blacks, making them stronger, making them having their own mind frame and being able to do things like they're supposed to be doing without listening to, I'm sorry, as y'all hate to hear I say, the white man. And, that's just like they were saying. It was someone that was saying not too long ago that if Martin Luther King had to live right now, was living right now, this world would be so totally different that they would be combating us at every turnaround. You understand what I'm saying? They would just be on us because we would be so self-empowered, and we wouldn't have so many people who feel like they failed out of society.
Well, that's psychologically damaging when all your leaders and stuff take one to the head. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it does mess with your psychology, and
well, I'm just saying that's the nature of the FBI. The nature of the FBI is to be the dominant alpha, big bad wolf in the room. Anybody that's going to compete, anybody that's going to get organized, they're going to take them down. That's just their nature.
Anytime you have an individual, I don't care what race you are, what religion you are. I mean, think about David Koresh. Let's not forget. What was it down in Texas? There was the
Waco, Texas.
Right. Man, come on! There was no justification in the FBI behavior and infiltrating Waco, Texas. So anytime you have any individual that has the ability to influence a group of people and change their thought process and help them to realize the type of society and type of country that they're living in, and to bear arms and to come up against the opposition or the higher power, the powers that be, it's going to be an issue because they're not being submissive or subservient to what the powers that be want you to do. When people have an ability to create an awareness, of course the FBI, of course the CIA, of course the government's going to have an issue with that.
What was the other guy they raided his farm down there too? As a matter of fact, they made him stand trial. What was his name? One Iam, where you at?
I'm right here. You said they raided somebody's farm?
They raided that other guy's place down there, that one that was marrying all the women and the girls and everything down there. What was his name?
Oh, yeah. You talking about was he a Mormon?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they had to be careful with them because the Mormons they're a big gang.
Yeah, they took
all
the children.
Why Romney's
put them on a bus and everything and took them away, but they got their children back.
Right.
Oh, that was that was down in Texas. They went after those people. Yeah, but they got him back.
They still got that guy though. His name was
they
Jeff.
Still got that guy. And they put him on trial.
Yes, they got him.
Yeah, but see, what you don't understand is the FBI's got two prime directives. The first one, and this is their motto: never lose freaking control. They don't care what they have to do. They will not lose control of the situation. It doesn't matter who they got to kill, what they got to do. They never lose freaking control. And the second one is no competing groups. They don't care if it's you're white, you're black, Hispanic. If you're a group and you're getting organized, they are going to crush you. That's just their nature.
I totally agree.
Yeah, I totally agree. But the thing you should also understand is that they are lawless. Don't for 1 minute think that these people are upstanding.
Can you please say that again?
They are lawless. Lawless. Okay?
Rules don't apply to the crew.
Rules do not apply. If they can't get you with the rules, etc., they will murder you. They will do anything.
Well, they'll take your children hostage. They'll take your children hostage. I mean, they do whatever.
Treat these groups. They didn't use any rules. There's no etiquette. There's no ethics when you're infiltrating a group of people to undermine them. There is no ethics. There is no law. I totally agree. So the tactics that they use to murder Imam Lukman and murder JFK and murder Black Panther Party members and murder certain KKK. I mean, they do that for every particular group that brings about an awareness amongst the people to bear arms and fight back against the lawless powers that be. So, of course, there's no ethics to it. So for people to say, oh, they've got to have a valid reason, or got to be some legitimate reason for them to do this.
They do have a reason.
Maintain
control.
Period.
No, they know the dark secret doctrine. Let's say Martin Luther would have been left alive, he organized. Well, in 30 years, then the country would have been run by a black FBI that would have been just as ruthless, just as savage. You see what I mean? It doesn't matter who gets the power. It'll change, but after a while, it always goes to that same fundamental model that the FBI got now. So they say, well, why are we going to have a switch?
I hear you. Let me tell you, I want to swing this whole conversation toward this truther movement, the truther movement, because the truther movement, whether they believe it or understand it or not, they have entered into psychological warfare against the system. Okay? And as a result of them entering into psychological warfare against the system by saying, no, this is what's happening. That's what's happening. No, the government is doing this. They're doing that. Okay? You have entered into warfare and you have turned all of the FBI forces and directives toward you now. Okay? And you can call yourself freedomslips.com and call yourself a truther station, this, that, and the other, but you're being infiltrated.
Yeah.
Okay? There are people in the chat room that I already know that are sock puppets that you think are your friends. Okay?
Tell me.
Yeah.
Oh, they're everywhere.
They have 100 different IDs. These guys are working. NSM Doc, I remember him. Sacramania Motorcycle Club. He started out, he had a few people subscribing to him, and he started getting thousands of people listening and subscribing to him. The next thing you know, they came at him with money. Like, we got a station over here. We're going to offer you money. You come on over to this station, this, that, and the other. He went over to the station. All kinds of arguments and fights and all kind of things was going on between him and the members at the station. The next thing I know, he had got locked up and arrested for something. Okay? And shortly after that, I looked at, there was a video on, and he was talking about, I'm dying, man. I'm dying. Okay? Seriously. MSM Doc, Sacramania, MC, look him up on YouTube. He might not even be there no more. Dutch Sense. He started talking about the harp rings and how they messing with the weather and the radiation and everything, and started doing readings from Fukushima and different things. He started receiving death threats and all kind of different things, and his mother started getting phone calls and all kind of stuff. And he decided he was going to quit at one point.
His friend got killed. His friend got shot up.
A friend got killed, shot up. Different things started happening to him. Him and Patriotic Underground, Mike, right? They were acting like they were just about married. You know, they were doing videos together and everything up in the hills, up in the mountains and all that. And then the next thing you know, him and Dutch Cinch is in a vicious fight. You know.
Well, you got to know what Mike's not what he appears to be. Mike's an operative.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a fact.
I don't know whether Mike's an operative or whatever. I know that this is the kind of thing that came toward Dutch Cinch when he started identifying harp rings and identifying.
Right, but that's the nature. Listen, One Iam. I mean, I've been punched. I've had my head bounced off cruisers. I've been locked up 20 some odd times, forced drug injections, tortured. When you go down the political route, you're going to expect that. Get slapped and kicked and stuff like that. I mean, that's part of it.
Yeah, you can expect it. You can expect it coming. They're going to go to work on you. You listen to this station, you will hear a lot between Terrell and the master of many things, Kevin Allen, going back and forth, about who's credible and who's not credible in different battles. We had Shevs here. He was one of the bigger guys here at Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com. Okay, he ended up in a big mess in an argument, going back and forth, and he left the station. The next thing you know, I was getting emails from Tim Dolger with racist comments and stuff in the emails. Okay, I called Tim Dolger up like, you bastard, why you send me that bullshit? No. Tim Dolger's like, hey, it wasn't me, man, it wasn't me. The stuff is coming from Chefs. You know what I'm saying, man?
Uh-huh.
I mean,
that's you're getting into human nature now too. I mean, people just naturally fight stuff like that, envy and jealousy, and
people just
right.
Naturally, but you can't tell whether it's natural or whether it's unnatural. Okay, what I'm saying is, man, these organizations and etc. Dutch Cinch, he traced certain emails and internet service provider addresses and stuff back, and they went back to a military base. Okay, and you can trace some of these American Aryan and the rest of these and different things like that, and they will go back to some military base somewhere or some government agency. These people are out here; they're working this internet just like it's a virtual world, and they work in the internet just like they work the real world.
Well, you know what I heard? I heard that the Israelis employ something like 250 or 300,000 people at computer terminals that do nothing but just monitor the World Wide Web in different languages and chat rooms, but they got just a whole ton of guys that do that. So that's to be expected. But it's all winding down now. We can see the end result, where we're coming to. It's coming to where, soon the internet's going to be shut down, and we're going to go into this Nazi police state, and I guess it's just then the bullet and the burn. I mean, they're going to do what they did in China, Russia, Germany. Yeah. I guess that's where, at the end of the day, that's where we're all going.
Well, I'm just saying this. I'm just saying, especially the Nighthawk and anybody else that's like running a station or anything and calling yourself a truther station and trying to get the truth out, this, that, and the other, you have entered into psychological warfare. This is the beginning stages of all-out war, psychological warfare, okay? And they're going to come at you. They're going to be right in the chat room right next to you. They're going to try to move as close as they can right next to you, man, okay? Might even move in your own house with you, okay, and stuff like that. And next thing you know, you got brain cancer or something, from somebody dropped a Mickey in your drink or something. I mean, that's how dastardly this is. And this is serious, because when you turn the minds of the people against this government and all hell breaks loose, they pay the price. They're the ones who get drug outside in the back and lined up against the wall and hung and different things like that. Just like you seen in these other countries, when the Arab rise up and the people decide to come out of their houses and do what they got to do in order to change things. So when you enter into psychological warfare, you can expect these people to come and try to stop you, from doing what you're doing, because they're going to have to pay the price if you're successful. You feel me?
Oh yeah. No, I agree with you. I just don't. It's not going to be It's always like in Germany and Russia and China. It's always the government that slaughters the people. This thing with the Arab Spring, it's all made up. It's just all.
Yeah.
The military still got control.
Exactly.
There's been no change of power.
Exactly. The military still got control of Egypt over there. They put one of Mubarak's lead mans in charge over there. So
everybody needs to know that they put that MDAA where the military can just pick you up, and I've just pretty much decided that I'm not gonna. I've done this for 25 years, and I know the ultimate reality. Nobody's going to be able to. If I were to tell it to you at One Iam, you would think I was crazy. In fact, if I were to tell you the pure reality, your mind would not even be able to believe it. I'll bet you. Your mind couldn't even believe it.
I couldn't even get around.
And then when I went through all this stuff, and I got to the top of the political mountain, and I got all this knowledge and figured it out, and my own kids can't even believe me. Their minds can't even believe it. They won't even open their own minds. And when they watch me do all this stuff, all the FBI and the Secret Service and all the gang stalking, taking cars. I mean, they see it all.
Yeah.
Me passing letters out, a helicopter show up. People from governor's office. I mean, they see all that, and they can't believe it. You know what that means? That means that fundamentally, the millions are not able to comprehend real reality. So it just doesn't make a difference anymore. And
right.
Now I've just decided to shut down. That's it. I'm done.
You know what? I don't understand how people can look at like the United States of America on top of the game, like the superpower and everything in the world. And you look at all the other nations and you look at how ruthless their governments and et cetera are and this and that. Why aren't they on top of the game if they're so ruthless? They're so horrible and this, that. There's obviously something out here that's nastier than they are. Okay? And this is it. Right here. There's a clean image and everything. But behind the image are some serious killers. Serious killers.
Oh, the rabbit hole goes deeper than that One Iam. It doesn't stop with America or Britain or Israel. There's 2 or 3 levels above that. Unbelievable stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not. These people are just puppets.
Right. I'm just saying. You can't be looking at those other governments and how ruthless they are, this, that, and the other, and think that the United States is on the top because they're nice guys.
Yeah. I mean, Saddam Hussein, he killed, a couple thousand people with gas in them or something. I mean, we went over there, we killed over 1 million Iraqis.
Yeah, killed a million. And guess what? Who cares? They don't care. The big boys don't care. They trump up a war on some bull crap, okay? A preemptive war. Like this guy, they know he ain't got none because he don't have no weapons of mass destruction. They done had atomic agencies over there going anywhere they want to go ever since Bill Clinton was the president. Running up into this place, running up into that place with no warning, just anywhere they want to go, okay? Then they trump up some stuff like he's got weapons of mass destruction, knowing he don't have them, and go over there and just blow up everything. Shock and awe, take that man out of a hole and hang him. Okay, shot his kids up.
Well, it's worse. I've seen some videos of the Iraqi children all being bombed and all in the hospital, arms being blown off. I see all that stuff and I think, man, America's going to get it. We're going to get judgment. My God.
Let me tell you, one time they shot a bunker that they thought Saddam Hussein might have been in. They seen a whole lot of people going in and out, women, children, and everything. They're like, well, maybe he's in there too. They sent some kind of bomb through there, man, to open up the bunker, the concrete, and then another one followed the bomb that opened up the hole in the concrete and incinerated the place.
Yeah.
And you had people, their form and stuff like fossils on the wall where they were burned into the wall and everything. Over Iraq. I mean, that place is still there. It's almost sacred now, you know. I mean, the horror of what happened. You look at that highway when they tried to retreat from Kuwait, the Iraqis, and they caught them and go back to Iraq. You know, it was a retreat, and they caught them on the highway. They call it the highway to hell.
Yeah.
They shot them people like they were shooting turkeys in a duck shoot or something on that highway.
Just miles and miles, something like 15,000 automobiles and cars and trucks. All on this stretch of highway, and they couldn't run into the desert. They'd get shot, so they had to stay
straight. They would
right.
Get straight.
Right. Yeah, they just came through, just kept scraping all those vehicles. People hiding underneath their engines. Plane
after plane after plane, just letting them have it, strafing them. Just killing everything that moved, burning. I mean, heat so intense, the tires and everything are melting. Steel is melting, everything. People caught up in these vehicles and et cetera. And they had, Kuwaiti treasures and everything that were in that caravan. They had, people from Kuwait that they were carrying back to Iraq with them and et cetera. Did anybody care? No. United States, just like the devil came out of hell and caught them people on that highway, and it was no mercy. I know you're leaving. I know you're going back to Iraq, but baby, we caught you on the highway. Okay, you never should have came or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It was like you can't give up now. You can't give up. You know, ain't no going back home. It was terrible. War crimes committed and all kinds of uranium off into the bombs and everything. Depleted uranium and the effects of that, you know, going on for generations.
Oh, the deformities. They're actually talking now because they're getting so many in Iraq that they're finally starting to talk about whether they should be able to abort some of these children because they figured there's going to be so many deformed children that the state doesn't even have the money to take care of all the children being born with all these deformities and crippling. And so here it is, a Muslim country, which are adamantly opposed to abortion. They're even breaching the question, what should we do?
Yeah.
We just can't afford all thousands and thousands of deformed children. No, I mean, it's horrible. When it's our turn, when it's America's turn, my God, it's just like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to pay for. You know, there's a lot to answer for. If anybody ever get the upper hand and, start running through the Pentagon and everything, you have to answer for 911 too. And everything else you've done in order to get things the way that they are today. I mean, it's terrible. And, I'm hearing right now that they have deployed, 12,000 troops in Libya. This is what I'm hearing. News reports and et cetera on the internet that they're taking over some of the oil port cities and some of the terminals and stuff. You know, where they do oil over. I mean, they didn't spend all that money, you know, doing what they did over in Libya in order to let somebody else have the oil. So they're shoring up their situation with the oil because the country is all haywire now. You got all kinds of groups over in Libya that are going at each other for power and everything. You know, whole cities are being held by certain groups, and there's no union there no more. As a matter of fact, you still have loyalists to Gaddafi that is attacking other groups and everything, even though Gaddafi's dead in Libya. So, you know, Libya's a mess. They just supposedly left Iraq. Iraq is still a mess. They still bombing like crazy over there, and, you know, 50 and 60 people at a time are being blown up in these bomb situations. Of course, they had a green zone over there, and they were getting bombed in the green zone. You know, so that's not over. And even though he might have pulled troops out, they put.
Oh no, they want everything in 1,000 pieces. They're going to a strongman model. That's basically what's happening. Is everything you shatter something to 1,000 pieces, and then you get one strongman, and he takes the power. He gets his gang together, and he controls that particular area, neighborhood, city, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's the model they're going.
But then there's no international threat.
Right.
As a result of that, it's just all hell broke loose in your country, and you got to live in that for a long time. You know what I'm saying?
One Iam, nobody's ever going to live in America that we lived in. I mean, we really had it at 50s, 60s, 70s, even the 80s. I mean,
Yeah.
we really we saw something special. Nobody in the whole world has never seen anything like that.
Yeah, this
incredible.
This is unbelievable. I'm even hearing that there are reports that they got like 11 U.S. aircraft carriers in the Persian Gulf area right now.
I think the 11 is the total. I don't think they would stick all 11 in there. I think it's a 3 task force group. I don't think it's 11. We have a total of 11 worldwide aircraft carriers,
Exactly.
battle groups.
And I think they all in the Persian Gulf. You better check it out. This is what the reports are saying, that they're going to maintain a fleet. They're going to maintain a fleet of 11 aircraft carriers in the Persian Gulf region. The intention is to send out signals to Iran that blockage of the Strait of Hormuz is unacceptable. And I think it goes beyond intention when you're going to set 11 aircraft carriers around. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of spending for.
I don't think it's 11 Iam. I mean, no military is going to take all their aircraft carriers and clump them together. They're not going to do that. I mean, you realize the power of one aircraft carrier, that if you took like a nation's power, look at their army and their aircraft, their army and air force,
yeah,
and how much military power they got. If you realize what one aircraft carrier and that battle group has capability of, it has more power than like the next 200 nations.
I know, it's a complete airport.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's got like 80 fighters and cruise missile frigates, and it's like, that's just one. So it's immense.
I tell you what, hit the internet, look at the reports. If I'm wrong, let me know. But the reports are saying, and the U.S. is backing it with their conversation, that, yeah, we got 11 aircraft carriers in the region. As a matter of fact, they just sent the Abraham Lincoln through, and then they came back with the U.S. Constitution right through both of them, right through the Strait of Hormuz.
I think it's 3. I mean, if it's all 11, if that's the truth, then this is World War III we're talking about. This is it.
Yeah, we already know World War III, and they say they generally start conflict and stuff in March, in the spring. March is a good month for war starting, because you're going into the spring and the summer, and the weather's a whole lot better for bombing people. So,
yeah, time of war. That's age old. Spring. That's time of war. Armies march.
So, I don't know what's going on with that. I know that they are talking about, an attack on Iranian nuclear reactors and et cetera, and nuclear plants that they're making bomb materials. The Iranians say they need nuclear power for electricity and et cetera. So, and I think they do have some inspectors over there in Iran. I know that they also waging a campaign where they're assassinating Iranian nuclear scientists and et cetera. Bombing them on the way to work and different things like that.
That in itself is a psychological operation.
Yes, psychological. Just imagine if you were an Iranian scientist.
Right.
You peeping out of your window like, I gotta go to work today. Whoa! You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to get the car, and head toward the job, knowing that you got these massive powers, with intelligence agencies like they have, and you on the list,
Yeah, well, I used to think it was a bummer once you get old enough and you find out that you're going to die one day. But, the more I look at it, I'm thinking, well, we only live 70 years, and, you know, for 70 years or so, and that's pretty much it. I mean, this is all about our souls. I'm convinced of it, or what we choose in this life, how we act. It's about our souls.
You know what, Hijacker, is all about your consciousness, man. You know, the consciousness in the mind is what it's all about. As far as when it comes to dying, you can't be dead like what you think, okay? Because in order to be anywhere, you have to be conscious of where you are to be there, okay? So in order to be dead, you have to be conscious of the fact that you're dead, right? And then if you're conscious of the fact that you're dead, right? You're not dead. Right. You're not dead. There's no way to
we just go to a different dimension.
Exactly. There's something inside of you, the consciousness, that cannot be killed. It cannot be dealt with on this level. Okay? And it cannot be ended. There's no way to ever know to know an end. You have to be conscious of an end to know it.
Yeah, I know, but it's just when people get ready to die. I mean, I look at my death like Christmas morning. I mean, that's when I wake up and I get to unwrap all the presents, because I lived my life. I watched how I lived, even when I was young. I don't have any regrets. I can't think of any real regrets that I got. But there's some people, they get ready to close their eyes. They're the ones been dropping bombs and burning up little Iraqi children. I bet they're worried about when they die. I bet they're scared to death.
I talked to a guy just a couple nights ago that was kind of scared to close his eyes. You know, like if I close my eyes and then there ain't gonna be nothing, it's just be dark. It'll just be what? Did you think that's what you're gonna see? If I could close my eyes and there would be nothing, it would just be dark and I would have no knowledge of anything. Shit, I'd go tonight. You know what I'm saying? That'd be great. And then you ain't gotta deal with none of this bull crap. You know,
oh, you mean when you die like a dog? That's it.
You're just dead and gone. You know what I'm saying? And you're not conscious of anything. That's not the way it works.
No, it doesn't work like that.
You have to be conscious to be anywhere. If you're not conscious, great. There's no purpose in continuing to the next day. You understand?
Yeah.
And putting up with any of this mess that we're going through. If you know, that's it. Once you're dead, that's it. You know, boom, give it to me. You know what I'm saying? How will it matter if I have no consciousness of anything or of being anywhere, of doing anything? How will it matter? It won't.
Well, what happens if you're conscious that you all that you know is that you used to be? Now, is that not a black hell or not?
That ain't no black hell.
That's a hell of black fire.
I've already been out of body. And et cetera. I've been places. I've seen things. I've done things. I've moved faster than light can move. Okay?
But it does sound like your mind's been opened somehow. That's for sure.
I sound pretty wild and pretty far and pretty crazy out there. But listen, you a whole lot more than you think you are. And what you think you are, you just think you are that. It's all mental. The whole thing. Everything you think is hard and solid, it's all in the back of your head, in a way.
Well, I say it's frequency, sound.
Frequency, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's vibration and different things. And you put these pictures together that you live inside of your mind, okay? And you trapped in here by your mind. But, you know, I can't go too deep into that and this, that, and the other, you know, because people don't understand on that level. So, you know, I'm not going to sit here and operate at that level, but I'll say, don't even worry about dying. It ain't going to happen. It can't happen. It's impossible to happen. You know,
well, I mean, no, as far as this life in the flesh, in this fleshly body, yeah.
Yeah. So, the most you can do is, what you can do is, come up out of your house and out of your little weak situation that you think you in and get some courage. Okay? And try to make this world a better place. You know? And stop fearing whether or not you're going to be hurt, you know, or whether or not they're going to take you into one of their black operations and torture you and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, they'll waterboard you, torture you. You'll experience all of that, and it'll be horrible. You know, it'll hurt. But They can't kill you. Okay? The most they can do is put you out of here and then you go on somewhere else and do something else somewhere else. Okay? But it's not the end. You say that was a horrible experience. You know, I'm going back and get them bastards. And then you come
stick around and haunt them like a ghost.
Yeah,
you imagine how many ghosts are running around in Iraq? Can you imagine?
You come back in like Tilla the Hun. You know what I'm saying? Shoot.
Well, you know, those Tibetans, they were practicing when the Chinese were really burning them, when the communists took over, and they were taking all the Buddhist monks and burning their temples and killing them all or whatever. You actually had a group of those monks who tried to figure out how they could incarnate into Chinese on the next life and become their generals so that they could stop the war that way.
Right.
Imagine, talk about psychological warfare.
Right.
How about that?
Hey, them guys, they are on that level. They are on that level. You know, they understand what's going on. You know, they're not down here stabbing and grabbing and, you know, trying to get it and everything else, you know. They'll sit up and meditate all day because they know it's all about the mind and the mental, you know. And let's not play these games and stuff, you know, and hurt people and all that kind of mess. And
yeah, well, you know, there is a hell, One Iam, and it might not be eternal, but the people going to have to go and they're going to have to pay for this stuff.
Man, the hell is right here. If you don't get up out of this house and make it better, get up out of your house and your place and your situation, you already see it's hell. Okay?
No, this is like, I think there's like 7 levels of hell. I think this is like the last one, but I think there's other levels. I think there's a world where it's all like apartments. You ever been to New York and some of those apartment buildings? It's like 20,000 people in a building.
Let me tell you this, man, and I know from experience. Anywhere you go and you stay for a long time, it gets normal. It's just an everyday thing. So if they send you to hell and it's hot and it's burning and for a minute you're uncomfortable, if you stay down there 2 or 3 months, you'll be straight. You know, okay? You'll be just like one of the goons. If they send you to the ghetto, or you live in the West Bank in a refugee camp, you know what I'm saying? You'll get used to it. And you'll start talking to the girls and having fun and balling out in the refugee camp or in the ghetto or wherever you at. If they send you to hell, you and the devil gonna get cool. After a little while, you know, it might be uncomfortable for a minute. They send you to prison. Same thing. You know, you get used to the operation, you know, in the daily routine, and it's normal. You know, and then you get out, you say that was hell, but hey, man, you know, it wasn't no big deal. You know, it wasn't like I couldn't handle it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. You know, even.
Well, I'm not sweating it because I'm not going there, but there's an awful lot of guys that are going to have to pay. They're going to have to live through, you know, that guy's daughter that they've blown up or raped or burned, their children. They're going to have to experience all the stuff they dished out. They're going to get it back. I think it's twice. I think it's twice the judgment, twice the evil that they done. They're going to have to feel. They're going to have to go through.
I feel what you're saying, man, but I think that's all coming from, you know, a religious point of view, from the Bible and et cetera, this, that, and the other. And that's a whole nother program, too, that's been put out here in order to make people more moral. And then if you don't go along with what they're telling you to do in the Bible, this, that, and the other, they got other places for those who don't agree with that, like jail and prison. But basically, these systems are put out here to put you in check, and they're very effective, as you can hear from Hijacker. But look, man, nobody's gonna get you. There's no big bad ghosts and no bad places to go and all this kind of stuff like this.
No, it's not that. I mean, I'm not scared of dying.
Yeah, Santa Claus ain't out there. Jesus ain't out there in space waiting around, coming back from the camp.
Oh no, there's got to be. The universe tells you that there's got to be a God, and that God is love, and there's got to be a Jesus. There's got to be something that saved us.
There's
got to be.
You know, there's self that's out here, man, that you have to discover. When you discover self, you to the end of it all. You know?
No, I mean, look, One Iam. Look what's going to happen to mankind in 50 years. You ever see that movie THX 1138?
No.
Well, that's the end result. That's where everybody's working underground. They're given drugs they got to eat. They're all dressed in white.
Yeah.
They're in a robotic type society. That's where it's all going to go. The age of singularity, when they're actually going to be able to put ports on our head and start hooking us up to computers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be over for us. I mean, for the species as overall.
Right.
I mean, look at who's got all the power and the money, the control. These megalomaniacs, these psychopaths.
Right.
Where do you think, if no Jesus shows up, where do you think mankind's going? It's it for us. Just going to be nothing but sort of like half machine human slaves.
Well,
that's our end.
Basically, you have to discover self, man. And like I said, I can't, I can't go too deep into that either. You can't get into really heavy esoteric information with people that haven't been raised in an esoteric community and an esoteric understanding and understanding what's going on and everything. Okay, it's like doing calculus with people that don't know addition yet.
I agree, One Iam, but what I'm saying is how in 20, 30, 50 years, where do you see mankind going? You really think that we could free ourselves from this reptilian empire? Do you think we could? I don't think we can.
As Parliament Funkadelic always say, free your mind and your ass will follow.
Yeah, but what about you haven't had an upbringing. You had all that esoteric stuff. There's children coming up now. They don't even know what the word is. They don't even know what you're talking about. It's like talking German.
Yeah. Exactly. But we coming up, consciously and in the mind.
I was checking out.
So it's going to be a different world. People just have to drop the fear and come out of your houses, out of your places, and confront some of this evil out here. Confront it.
Yeah.
If you're good, and we can stop it. We can stop it. And again, Nighthawk, just be looking out for the sock puppets and everything, man, and the people that's trying to turn your head against other people and everything, and trying to stifle different voices and everything that they hear, that's coming to you. Some of them are in the room and they act like they're there every night, like they're friends and everything, and regulars. Okay, sock puppets. Look at some of the internet addresses and see where they end up at. What military base they coming from. What agency or whatever. Get to the bottom of some things. That's what I would say, and just be careful, man, because you have.
Right. And the other thing that people really can do, I mean, besides realizing that these dark days coming up, we're all going to have to make choices, and it's basically going to come down.